All right, let's dive in. If you're building anything with AI, you've heard the term prompt engineering a million times. But what if I told you that skill is already becoming outdated? As we go from basic chatbots to really complex AI agents that have to act on their own, the real challenge is changing. The most critical skill is evolving way beyond just the prompt. And today, we're going to break down exactly what it is. For the last couple of years, it's all been about this one idea, right? Crafting that perfect prompt. The magic set of words that could unlock an AI's hidden genius. We've all been there, spending hours tweaking and refining a text string just to get the output right. But here's the thing we have to ask ourselves. Is that really the whole story? As these AI agents get more and more complex and we ask them to do more, it's becoming crystal clear that a single static prompt, it's just not enough to get the job done reliably. In fact, the entire conversation is shifting big time. It's moving away from just the prompt itself and toward a much broader, more systemic approach to giving an AI everything it needs to actually succeed. And that brings us to the new term that's popping up everywhere, context engineering. This is the concept that is fundamentally changing how the best developers are thinking about building with large language models. Shopify's CEO, Toby Lutke, just puts it perfectly. He calls it the art of providing all the context for the task to be plausibly solvable by the LLM. See, it's not about tricking the model. It's about equipping it. It's about setting it up for a win. To really get this, let's look at a super simple example. This illustrates the huge difference between what feels like a cheap demo and an AI agent that feels like actual magic. Okay, so imagine an AI assistant gets this email. We've all gotten this email. Hey, just checking if you're around for a quick sync tomorrow. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? But the AI's response is going to depend entirely on the context it's given. Now here's where it gets really interesting. We've got two agents. The code behind them could be identical, literally the same. The only difference is the information they see. Our cheap demo agent, it only sees the text of the email. But the magical agent, it's designed to go out and gather a whole bunch of information before it even tries to respond. And here's what you get from the cheap demo agent. It's polite, I guess, but it's completely unhelpful. It just pushes the work right back onto the user because it has absolutely no context. It doesn't know your schedule. It doesn't know who this person is. It's functionally useless. Okay, now look at this. The magical agent comes back with the perfect response. Why? Because before it even thought about writing, its system went to work. It gathered context. It checked your calendar and saw you were totally booked. It identified Jim from your contacts. It used an informal tone based on your past emails with him. And it even used a tool to proactively send a new calendar invite. That is context engineering in action. So if context is the secret sauce, what's actually in it? To understand that, we have to break down the anatomy of what the AI actually sees, what we call its full context window. The simplest way to think about it is this. Context is absolutely everything the model gets to look at in its limited short-term memory, right before it generates even a single word. And trust me, it's so much more than just the user's last message. And here are the key ingredients. You've got your main instructions or system prompt that sets the rules of the game, then the user prompt itself, which is the immediate task. You have the conversation history, its short-term memory, long-term memory for things like user preferences, then retrieved information, where the system pulls in fresh data from somewhere else. That's the technique called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. You've got the available tools it can use, like sending an email, and finally, you can give it instructions on the structured output, telling it what format the response should be in. So when you start thinking about actively managing all 7 of those components for every single AI call, well, you realize you're not just writing prompts anymore. You're designing a completely new kind of system. And that gets us to this formal definition. Context engineering is the discipline of designing and building dynamic systems. Systems that provide the right information, the right tools, in the right format, at the exact right time to give an LLM everything it needs to nail a task. It's a real engineering discipline. This table really just makes it so clear. Prompt engineering is focused on a text string. It's static. The goal is a perfect instruction. Context engineering, on the other hand, is focused on building a dynamic system. It's adaptive, and the goal isn't just an instruction. It's a complete picture for the AI. The difference is huge. So the key principles are actually pretty simple, but they're so powerful. 1, it's a system, not just a string of text. 2. The context is created dynamically, on the fly, for each and every task. 3. It's all about providing the right information and tools, not just more. And 4. Format really matters. So what does all this mean for you? Well, it means that your real superpower in building the next generation of AI isn't going to be about being a clever wordsmith. This, right here, might be the single most important takeaway. Most agent failures are not model failures anymore. They are context failures. Let that sink in. The next time your AI agent fails, the first question shouldn't be, is the model dumb? It should be, did I give it the right context to succeed? And that's the bottom line. The path to creating powerful, reliable, and truly magical AI applications, it lies in the thoughtful, deliberate engineering of context. This is a shift from being a prompt artist to being a systems architect. This changes everything about how we should approach building with AI. It puts the power and the responsibility right back in our hands as developers to create a rich world for the AI to operate in. So the only question left is, now that you know the real secret, what are you going to build with it?